I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the flag
flag
United States
of the
of
United
America,
States of America,
and to the
to
republic,
the republic
for which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
liberty,
with liberty, justice for all. Would you do us the honors, Kristen, and introduce everyone, please?
Sure, this is Kristen. First, there's no introduction or deletion, or sorry, no addition or deletion of agenda items that I had, and an introduction of those present this evening. We have select board members in attendance. We have Mike Beecher, Ed Cleveland, Chuck Whedon, John Malcolm, and Bob Jones. Others in attendance, we have Kristen Powers, Jessica Van Ort, John Sabatka, Maureen Brown, Jennifer Sullivan, Frank Nelson, Mike Wesko, Eileen Bellavia.
Thank you. The
Mike
minutes.
Beecher. Mike,
Hi, Chuck.
I have a bit of a rasp and cough, so rather than yes, can I just show you my hand?
Okay. If you want no, give me a thumbs down, Chuck, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Everybody good with that?
And this
Chuck,
is
hand
Kristen.
signals? Okay.
This is
Kristen?
Kristen too. One other friendly reminder, just obligatory reminder. We are recorded this evening as per usual for the purpose of PEG TV. So make sure to please address your questions to Chairman Mike Beecher, and also please acknowledge who you are before speaking for the purpose of clarity. Thank you.
Okay. Did anybody have any comments on last week's meeting, minutes, last minutes? I didn't see anything that didn't seem correct to me. What do you think, John?
Make the motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Okay, John made a motion. Do I hear a second? Ed?
Oh, I
Okay.
saw Chuck's hand.
Chuck's hands, good enough. All right, we're got a motion made and second to accept the minutes as presented. All in favor, Chuck? John?
Yes.
Ed?
yes,
Bob?
Yes.
And by the way, that was a yes from Chuck to the hand signal. Thank you. Okay, pre-requested, Mike Wesko. I saw this afternoon you sent along questions.
Yes, this is Mike Wesko. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, as requested, I think for last time's meeting, it was requested that I submit in writing the questions I may be asking. So I've done that for this meeting tonight.
Okay. I didn't get them all till just now, this afternoon.
So I'll let you proceed how you want to go through the list.
Okay. So these are the questions. Was a copy of the zoning permit provided to me by zoning administrator Rosenthal found in the town? Did the town highway department notify the select board of a discussion it had with officer of Vermont DMV concerning non-licensed unregistered vehicles used on roads? Was reference made by Selectman Whedon in a previous meeting of an arrangement with Chet McCullen for free maintenance on Kelly Hill Road? A select board decision? And I've still not heard the answer to the reference made in 407 meeting that the type of truck traffic occurring on Kelly Hill Road was authorized. So was that authorized use? I believe this is the fourth time being asked. That's your list of questions?
Yes, it is.
Okay. As far as I know, I haven't heard anything from Jonas about finding that. in any of the town records at this point. I was not,
He did, this is Mike Wesko speaking. He did respond to me like at 5 or 5:30 that he was going to get back to me tomorrow, which I believe is his scheduled day at the Pawlet offices. So he might
Yes.
have more information for me tomorrow.
I was not aware of any conversation between the town highway crew and any of Vermont State DMV.
Yeah, it was Inspector White of the Vermont DMV had a conversation. I believe it was with Mr. Decker, who I do not know. And
Okay.
Officer White did explain the titles of the statutes, which I had provided in an earlier meeting. I think I was requested to put it in writing. What I was asking for is that any vehicle of that nature, which is unlicensable and unregisterable, is unlawful to be used on any road in Vermont. So Officer White and I did also discuss the potential damages that occur, which may not be seen at present, but if the vehicle made as many trips as what's been alluded to, his feeling was that there's probably going to be damages whether it shows this year or next year. Culverts aren't designed or produced or engineered to take that kind of stress load. So you might want to follow up with the highway department and see what they have to say about the conversation that they had.
Okay. Well, Mr. Decker's not the foreperson of the highway department, so I will talk to the foreman and see what we can, see what
Yeah,
I can learn from that.
Yeah, Officer White also, through me, I guess, is saying that if you have any questions or concerns or need any more details or any more specifications, is to certainly reach out to him and he'll be happy to let you know what it is, whatever you're asking about.
Okay.
So the follow up with that is if Inspector White is correct in what he's saying, is it reasonable to expect that the town would notify the two parties involved, which would be Rob Lee Farm Incorporated and Chet McClellan Jr., the pit operator, that their actions are unlawful and should not happen again?
That seems like something for the DMV. That's an enforcement issue that the DMV would handle.
Okay, then I'll ask him to do that.
To my knowledge, there's no arrangement with Chet McCullen for free maintenance on Kelly Hill Road.
There is none? No arrangement?
Not that I know of.
Agreement? Where did that statement come from then in the, I think it was 2 previous meetings? I missed last week's meeting due to the weather.
Mr.
Okay.
McCullen has contributed material to improve the road during severe conditions, but there's no arrangement between the town and Mr. McCullen.
So then that statement by Selectman Whedon was incorrect then, if I remember it correctly.
No, I think that was pretty clear the way Chuck said it.
He said he provides maintenance.
He,
No,
I'll-
no, he
I'll-
said that.
I'll try to speak, Mike,
Okay,
Mike, Wesko. Okay, so this is Charles.
Yep.
And my comment that evening was when the road became excessively muddy, Chet would put material in the road on the 133 side from there until the driveway that goes up into his pit. So that's that's the way that I stated it back whenever it was. I never said that we were involved with Chet. He just did it upon his part to make the road a little more passable for his trucks.
Okay, I'll take you for your word on that. So then there's one last question, I believe, at this point, which goes back to the April 7th, 2012 meeting where it was stated that the type of truck traffic that other residents were complaining about on that part of the road is that it was authorized. And I'm still trying to find information, literature, anything as to who would have authorized it.
Of the heavy equipment going across the road, or just a regular dump truck going up and down the road?
The regular dump trucks, because this would have been 2012.
Well, the regular dump trucks are allowed on the back roads.
No, there was a
Um,
question at a meeting from one of the attendees, another resident who I can't remember at this point, but it's easy enough to look up. Question of whether or not that type of truck traffic, which seemed excessive according to the resident who was making the statement, whether or not that was an approved use of the town road. And the road foreman replied is that, yes, it is authorized. So my question is who is it that authorized that type of truck traffic that was stated back in the 2012 meeting? That's all I'm looking for, is who would have authorized it.
Okay, any truck, any like tandem trucks or anything like that are authorized on all these roads. They're supposed to get the excess weight permit, which something that dates back a very long time. I don't totally understand all the deals behind that. But
Okay.
I mean, garbage trucks, et cetera, fuel trucks, et cetera, are all travel all the back roads, the class 3 roads. And if there was a farm operating farm, tractor trailers would go there for grain and milk, and et cetera, on any class 3 roads in this town.
Well, I'd have to go back to that meeting and actually look at the question. I think it was particularly pointed to the numbers of trucks that were going in and out of the pit on a daily basis. So the question was raised by the resident as to whether or not that type of truck traffic was authorized. And the response was that it was authorized. So
I believe that when they apply for an Act 250 permit, there's all those numbers are in the pit. The number of trips they can do per day and the size of the trucks and all that stuff. And
okay, then I'll look into that. Thank you.
okay,
Appreciate the time.
okay, have a good evening.
You too.
Any announcements?
This is Kristen. No announcements from me.
How about reports?
So first report would be the zoning administrator's report. There was nothing submitted to the select board email inbox from
Okay,
Jonas for this particular meeting.
and next would be planning commission.
Yes.
You have anything to report tonight, Jessica?
Nope, no report tonight. I'm just here as a civilian. Our next meeting will be the 22nd, and I'll report after that.
Thank you. Road foreman. Keith sent me a text tonight. Said he was hoping to be able to call in. He said the new truck is done. And he feels we should get that truck undercoated, whether we use Carrera's oil or one of the other type of coatings, fluid film, et cetera, something like that. I strongly agree with that idea. It certainly seems to make a big difference in what I'm experienced with. So I don't know if anybody else has any idea. I'm sure it's going to be $300-400 probably for a truck of that size. But Does anybody have any comments? Chuck?
I would strongly suggest that with this being the 9th of February, that we would not use that truck this winter. I would recommend that we keep using the Black Dodge at least until springtime.
Okay,
I'm not saying not to get it undercoated by some shape or form, but I would recommend, and I hope the board would also recommend, that he would not be using the new truck during this winter snow season.
okay. That makes a lot of sense to me too, Chuck. It's certainly, it's not going to make any difference on the value of that other truck. And if there's no reason to subject it to all that salt right away, we might as well run it for a while. Everybody else feel all right with that? Do we need to, Chuck made a, I guess, made a motion. Do we want a
Michael.
second on?
Michael, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Ray. Mike, Carrera's main truck bay is closed for the winter, so it would have to be put on hold until spring.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Does everybody agree with the comment Chuck made, or do they want to do something? Or do they have a different feeling about that, or what?
This is Ed. I agree with what he said. And if that was a motion, I would second it. If you need one.
Probably it'll be better if it was a motion. So
I don't even know if
Chuck
we need
made a
one.
motion and Ed seconded that we have Keith hold off using that truck for this winter maintenance and not put it on the road till spring, but have some type of oil, have some type of extra undercoating applied to that truck. Correct, Chuck? Is that what you said, Chuck?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor, Chuck? Yes. Hand says yes. John?
Yes.
Yes. Ed?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Okay. So, Kristen, if you can make a note that we can convey that to Keith, thank you. He also said that Dave Hosley's looking for an answer on mowing. He's willing if we want him to again this season. Seems like we get a really good deal he does a very good job for what it costs, and the money is big if we were to do anything else. What do you think, Chuck?
Yes.
You make a motion. All right. Chuck made a motion to hire Dave Hosley to mow the roadsides again. Do I have a second on that motion?
John,
I'll second.
go ahead, Ed.
Okay, John was,
Oh,
all right. I give it to you this time, John. I don't want everybody to think you're sleeping and they look at the minute. Okay, so Chuck made a motion and John seconded it. All in favor, Chuck? Aye, that's an aye. John?
Yes.
Yes. And Ed?
yes.
And Bob?
Yes.
Okay, so we can also tell Keith to connect with Dave and have him. Thank you, Kristen.
Are we
This is
assuming,
working.
this is John, are we assuming it's the same amount of money?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't say anything about any change in the rate, so we'll just make sure that he's aware that if the rate, Kristen?
I was just going to ask, this is Kristen, do you want me, when I'm communicating that, to relay the message that we're assuming it's for the same rate as last year?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, please, thank you. Okay, and Keith is not here to talk about the mailbox policy. I made a point to read it prior to the meeting, so I feel it seems pretty pretty straightforward, but at least it gives us a stance, and we can tell people when they say we busted their mailbox. And we can say, no, there's no physical sign that our truck hit your mailbox. If the snow smashed that came from the wing, smashed your mailbox, well, then it's your problem. If there's physical damage on the mailbox or pole that our truck hit it, then we'll replace it, as long as it's in the proper place, which has the setbacks and the roadside and all that is pretty well spelt out. What do you guys feel about that? Do we want to adopt that as a policy, or does somebody want to talk about it more? Or it seems like every year we have a couple of comments, especially when we get a heavier wet snow toward the end of the season. Guess not. All right. Is there a report from the assessors?
There's,
Nothing from the,
well, this is Kristen.
Oh,
There's
cardio.
no report, but that cartographic associates, the word is escaping me, but the item that you need to
Contract.
sign.
Contract.
Contract.
Cartographic
Contract is
associates
the word I'm looking for.
Contract.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And I think, John, you were gonna
Yeah, I didn't
look into that a little.
talk about it. I can tomorrow. I don't know when it starts. Well, this is from the 26th day of January.
She did, John, when I emailed her after the last meeting to let her know that the board wanted
Right.
to take the 2 weeks, she did say that it was the exact same contract as the year prior.
Oh,
So she said, just
Okay.
bear in mind, it's exactly the same.
okay. That's what I wanted to know.
So, we didn't have any
So since
further.
it's exactly the same, do we want to go ahead? Do you want to make a motion? We just go ahead and have it done, John? That seems to be a pretty good system for us.
I'll make the motion to sign this contract for $1,800 mapping and $15 of building added or changed. The same contract as
Okay.
here.
Okay, somebody want to second that motion?
This is Ed. I'll second that.
Ed will second it.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor? Chuck, we can get back. We'll start with the rest of you guys first. John?
Yes,
Oh, Chuck said yes. Ed,
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Okay, so that's all set. Good. Town
I'll
clerk's
try to-
memo?
wait,
Oh,
excuse
John?
me, Mike.
Sure,
I'll
go
try-
ahead.
The contract down so Bob can sign that tomorrow for us.
Okay,
Is that okay?
that would be great. John. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Guess we're on the town clerk's memo, Kristen. I don't have a copy of that in front of me. If you don't mind reading it, please.
That's fine. This is Kristen. Deb submitted an email report for the board this evening, which you'll find all in your individual emails if you'd like to review it. Deb's memo, number 1, there's a liquor license that needs signature. 2 out of 3 of the ballots have arrived. Weather has delayed the school ballot. 3, the town report is in production. 4, the warning has been sent to the paper. 5, about 180 early ballot requests that we will be processing. 6, developing protocol for elections. Most voting will be outside in cars at tables. Then they can run their ballots through tabulator or place their ballots into a locked box to be run through by 2 election officials during the day. 7, dog licensing is in effect. Must be on time this year, no extensions. Thank you, Deb.
Okay. Who is the liquor license?
That's a great.
Nobody's at the town hall, so we really don't know, do we?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I guess we can't sign that until we know whose it's for.
Okay. I will,
Seems like that would be necessary.
yeah. there's a slim list of folks it might be, but probably good to know.
Right. Right. I would think that probably it's necessary before we approve just a blanket.
Okay, I will reply to that email if you'd like.
Please do. Okay. Oh, also, we can bring up that Deb posted a Zoom for beginners. Posted a YouTube video on the Pawlet Town Clerk Facebook page, giving a short tutorial on how to sign into the Zoom meeting. So that if anybody is unsure, you can spread the word. They can, anybody that's going to be new at that for the town meeting.
And this is Kristen. It also has been distributed via the town clerk's email distribution list. So anybody that gets town clerk emails will have also received that link. So if there's anybody, just reiterating what you just said, Mike, if there's anybody who you might know who might not be on that email list and is not on Facebook, please do. And while that topic has been brought up, it was brought to my attention that the Zoom account structure that we currently have, which is we do pay for this account, the meeting attendee number is capped at 300. So that's just something to be aware of. If the board wanted to have more than 300 people able to access any meeting, it would be another advancement of Zoom account, which I don't know exactly how much it is, but I've been told it's quite expensive. So that's just something that I think the board needs to be aware of, that if more than 300 people try to tune in to town meeting, will be capped at 300.
That's per event or per year?
Per individual meeting.
Yeah, okay.
So each, like this meeting tonight, we could only have 300 people.
Okay.
So.
This is Frank.
Go ahead, Frank.
One of the things I brought up with Devin, I don't know if they got it ironed out, is that Zoom and other ones have the ability to stream meetings, which means that people can go onto a YouTube URL, for example, and see what's going on with the meeting. And if they wanted to come in individually, then they could use a phone number and call into the meeting individually and be administrated and get through that way. So that if we ever were pressed, that would be the way to go. And then you wouldn't go over the 300 limit. You could just do the streaming and individuals could call in one at a time. And that would be another way to handle it. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank, for bringing that up. So I'm pretty confident that we're not going to hit the 300 mark for there's never been a meeting that I've ever seen that had that kind of attendance. So could be different, but
I just felt obligated
I may have to
let
crow.
you know.
Okay, thank you. So any other questions for Deb's report tonight, or? I guess we're good. Town Treasurer's memo.
Okay, this is Kristen again. Julie Mack, our town treasurer, submitted an electronic memo this evening, also sent individually to board members. There are 2 warrants to be signed. Payroll for the week was $8,914.02. The total accounts payable was $29,798.57. Monies from the general fund, $12,738.02. Highway, $21,993.42. Wastewater, $3,981.15. Vermont state aid was deposited on 1/15/21, $13,930.67 for class 2 and $10,689.69 for class 3, total for the quarter $24,620.30. 5:36. I have been very busy this week with tax day being tomorrow, February 10th. Respectfully submitted, Julie Mack.
Okay. So now we have the warrants. Has everybody had a chance to look the warrants over? Didn't see anything that looked out of line. Chuck, you got a question on the warrants?
No, I just make the motion to accept the warrants as printed.
Thank you. Do I hear a second on that motion?
This is Ed. I'll second that.
Okay. Ed, second that motion. Any more discussion? All in favor, Chuck? That's a yes. John?
John says yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Okay. Warrants approved. Do we have a emergency management director's report?
We do. This is Kristen. Bob Morlino, the Pawlet Emergency Management Director, submitted a report for January 2021. COVID-19 updates continue to be posted daily to the Facebook page to keep residents informed. Participated in 3 COVID-19 conference calls this month with Vermont Emergency Management and other emergency entities. That's all.
Okay.
And
Health officer?
Yep, health officer. There's nothing new to report from the health officer.
Okay. Wastewater treatment. I had a conversation with Jill today, and we discussed that SOQ, and I shared it with everybody else. As she went down through the line, she explained to me how she worked through the process, and she felt that because of her experience working with Jenny from Whole Tanner, that gave them a little bit of edge, because she knows that Jenny's been in that type of, and she used some words that I don't even remember, but just the type of system that we are dealing with. Jenny has a great deal of experience, and she has very, very familiar. Plus, she's very familiar with our system because she's already been down here doing some of the preliminary work. So she felt that they got a little bit better score than Dubois and King. Dubois and King they're in Brandon, but the engineer that would be managing this job didn't have as much experience in these types of systems with RBC as she'd like to see. And so that cut them down a little bit. And she felt that Otter Creek just didn't have enough experience with any type in the sewer system fields. They've only done like leach field design and not RBC or treatment facilities and stuff like that. So she felt that our next step would be to share this proposal with Tom Brown from, I can't even think of what the name of the outfit he works for the state, but he's the guy that gets us the money, and rural development, and to see what they felt, and then have Whole Tanner and Jenny write up a proposal that would outline the whole project and the costs and everything involved, so that we could move forward. Then it would be a part of putting it onto a bond vote. We would have to have a bond vote on it to approve it. She feels strongly that with the amount of infractions we had when we were trying to get this reconditioned plant back online, that we would very likely be up for like a 75% reimbursement. There's a very good chance we could get like a 75% reimbursement from, I think she said rural water. But it's kind of funny. It all ties hand in hand. You can't really apply for that money. You don't really know how much you're going to get till you have a bond vote that the town backs you and stuff. I think we would definitely get at least half. There's plenty of money sources out there that we would get at least half. But she's thinking that because we had quite a few violations that we would be eligible for the 75%. And then there's always a revolving amount of funds coming out. There's some funds that are kind of tied into Lake Champlain. And because we discharge into the Indian, which goes directly to the Meadowee, directly to Champlain, there may be a little bit, that may give us a little bit more points in the ranking to get funds that way. She's not sure. That particular fund is pretty new right now. But the engineer would be the one that would be sourcing the funds, et cetera, and stuff like that. So with the select board's blessing, we can move to the next step, which still doesn't cost us any money at this time. We can send it off to Tom Brown and Rural Water and have Jenny start working to come up with, she gave us I think she said a scope of the project. Let me see if I can pull that up for me, just if you hang with me just for a second, please.
Mike, this is Kristen. Tom Brown is with the Agency of Natural Resources in the Department of Environmental Conservation. Just so everybody knows, and he's a project developer. So he is the individual who helped us to kind of put out our request for qualifications for this feasibility for the additional sludge storage.
And one of the things that she did say that if Whole Tanner comes in and doesn't come in with a number that we feel will work for us, we can ask them to go back to the drawing table and try and tune their number and see if there's any possible way that we can get what we need for a price that we can afford. And also we can also say, no, you're not getting it. And then we can go to the next one in line, the second choice, Dubois and King, and see if they can come up with a system that would meet our maximum spending. So that's kind of where we stand with that. And I would like to get her to keep going on this and go to the next step, share it with Tom Brown, and so that he shows that he can see that we did our work and did the scoring process, et cetera. And we've chosen Oil Tanner to start to give us our initial scope and et cetera. So does anybody have any comment on that, or anybody want to do something different, or somebody want to make a motion that we go ahead and start moving forward with this process?
This is John. I'll make the motion to continue with Hoyle Tanner.
Okay.
And work with Jenny and Jill to come up with an outline of the scope of the project and possible cost and make the next step.
Thank you. Do I have a second on that?
Ed, I'll second that.
Ed will second that motion. Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to keep moving with this project, this sludge storage for the West Pawlet treatment plant to go with Whole Tanner. All in favor, Chuck? Chuck's a yes. John?
Yes,
Ed?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Okay. That's great. Thank you very much. I'll get a hold of, Kristen?
This is Kristen. I just want to make sure that I've gotten the motion correctly. I have motion made to proceed with Hoyle Tanner and Associates to come up with the proposed scope and fee for the ongoing process of additional sludge storage at the West Pawlet wastewater treatment facility.
I believe that.
Does that sound
That is correct. That's enough information.
okay?
So,
I pulled a lot of that from what Jill had sort of mentioned the next steps, where I just wanted to make sure I was summarizing everything all right.
yeah, I believe that's the right thing. We're just kind of going through and we haven't picked them as
Right.
as the final or option or anything like that, but they just get the, so to speak, the first crack at it because they scored best on the qualifications.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions on the treatment plant? Okay, old or unfinished business?
Sorry, Mike, there was a couple things. Jill did submit another email with a couple other items as a report. Would you like me to
Oh.
review those?
Please do.
Okay. So Jill Marsano, the owner and president of Vermont Utility Management Services, submitted an email saying that future priorities for the wastewater treatment facility include the RFQ, which is recommended negotiating with Hoyle Tanner Associates, which has just been discussed. Next item is to replace the air valve near the end of force main from Spruce Gum Pump Station. Spruce Gum Pump Station repair and replace pump number 1, and recommend jetting of collection system to get rid of solids building up to prevent future unwelcome clogs. And as always, please let her know if we have any other questions.
Okay.
Those were just some additional items from Jill of what's going on there.
Okay, and we did talk about that too, and I explained to her that there was a line item in the budget this year that we hope we could use that money to do some of those projects, and she was happy to hear that, so that we can be ahead of the game instead of behind the game. So. Now we'll go on to older unfinished business. John?
yeah, I don't know if this is the time to bring up the elevator contract.
Sure.
Okay, as you might remember, last meeting, Julie presented and we agreed to sign the inspection contract with the outfit Inspection Services out of Colchester. In the meantime, I've been researching with the 4 or 5 outfits that do this type of work for a service and maintenance contract. So hopefully avoid the big charges we've gotten from Schindler. We're about at the edge of different territories, whether it be 2 hours from Burlington on some firms, 2 hours from Montpelier, or 2 hours from Springfield, Mass. So I looked into this outfit in Queensbury with a gentleman named Jim Sisk, called Barrier Free Elevator Service. I don't know where he got the name, but anyway, I negotiated a price for him only for a first year. We can both get to know each other rather than the 2-year contract he requested for $900, which includes one service, maintenance, upgrade, whatever, in part of that contract. And then it gives, these guys get $250 an hour, and 300 if it's during a holiday, and gazillion if it's week holiday. I told him most of the problem they'll have is probably trying to dust off the machine. We don't use it that much. And it isn't like we're a apartment house or a department store that needs one. So anyway, I told him I'd present it and advocate for this, try him out for 1 year. He used to work for Schindler, spun off and has his own company now. I didn't ask him how many employees we have. He does do the schools over in Granville and a couple other accounts in Granville that could match up as far as travel time. So anyway, I'd recommend that we agree to sign up for $900 for 1 year. Try him out.
That sounds like a great deal to me.
Sounds, if you need a motion, this is Ed. If you need a motion to that effect, I would be glad to make it because that's real reasonable.
Yeah. So Ed made a motion. It's just, I think it's cleaner if we just have a motion and stuff. So Ed made a motion. Do I have a second on it? Chuck?
Mike, this is Bob. I'll second it.
Bob will second it. All right, all in favor? Chuck?
Talk to the hand.
Yeah, Chuck said yes. John?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you
And
just,
Bob?
Yes.
Okay, approved. Kristen, go ahead.
who is this contract with?
It's with Jim or James Sisk, S-I-S-K. And his outfit is called Barrier Free Elevators Incorporated.
Okay, and it's for a 1-year contract.
1 year contract for $900, split $450 each 6 months. And he's in Queensbury, New York.
Okay,
Okay, good.
And I'll get this down for Bob to sign too.
Okay, great, John. Were you able to contact anybody about the roof on the town hall, John?
I have not. The weather's just been so bad. I also heard about another name. There was an outfit, TKO Roofing, that's working on my neighbor's house at the moment. Releases equipment is there.
Yeah.
I don't know what their name is, but Bob Hebert is having, or Herbert is having work done there on the Shahadi house.
Okay. All right, so we'll just keep working on that, see if we can get a hold of somebody to look at it when the weather permits.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any other old or unfinished business anyone has? Guess not. Let's go to new business. Is there any new business, Kristen?
yes,
ahead.
this is Kristen. Julie asked that I read something for her under new business or public comment, and the time has struck me as right now
Perfect.
being my moment. So this is sent from Julie Mack. Hello, the Meadowy School Board set an annual goal of community engagement. We will be working on setting new ends goals in the near future, and we would love to do so with guidance from our community members. With that in mind, we have worked to create a short survey. This survey will be in hard copy in the annual school report that is mailed to all registered voters. Additionally, an electronic copy will be available on the BRSU website. I would like to ask that the town of Pawlet help us distribute this survey. To that end, would it be okay if we request that Sean include a link on the town website and in the monthly newsletter? I would also be asking Deb to place it in her town clerk Facebook page with your blessing. Thank you.
How does everybody feel about that?
This is John. I think it's fine. I'm just wondering where it's coming from. Is it coming from the Meadow East School District or is it coming from BRSU?
Looks like the Meadow East School Board has set this goal.
Okay, just curious.
Do we need anything more than just a quorum to just say, go ahead and do it?
I think that's, I mean,
Is
I
there
think that's
anybody have
probably
any?
fine. She's just asking for your blessing.
Yeah. Is anybody else? John feels it's a good idea. It sounds like a great idea to me too. That's a good source to get it out there, to get some good positive feedback. Is everybody okay with that? All right, so you can tell her that, send her a message that says that we're all fine with that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
And is there any other new business?
Are you ready for a motion?
Well, we got public comment, Ed.
Oh, okay.
I know you want to. We're crowded. I can't believe I'm looking at the clock at 7:55. I don't know.
I know here. Let's, see if we can get,
I must have had a really good dinner to speed me up. So public comment tonight. Who would like to? Maureen?
I have a question rather than a comment, but my question is regarding the March 1st informational meeting. I know that information is being distributed on the website and online, but I'm wondering how we are reaching, as a community, how we're reaching people who don't necessarily have internet access to disseminate that information.
Kristen, would you care to speak on that?
So I do know that the warning and all the information that accompanies, that's required by the state, that accompanies everything that goes along with town meeting, has been distributed to the local newspapers as well. And that I think that there are hard copies of items being posted, but in the newspapers, I've been talking with Deb back and forth, and that's going to include all of the login credentials and information on how to get in to town meeting. So that's been the one way I know of that's, reaching folks that might not be online.
Okay, thank you. And one other thought is, it might be short notice for now, but in the future, for people who do want to participate in this and don't have internet, is there, I guess they can pull up to the library Wi-Fi, but I'm thinking about some type of hub. So those who don't have internet but want to be able to participate in our community decision-making have an opportunity to do so.
Yeah. They can also call in. Everybody can also, there's a telephone number, which I know not everybody might have phone service either. But it is, this whole Zoom experience is also available to folks by phone.
Great.
Too.
Thank you. Thanks.
And that will all come out in the town meeting, the annual town report book that gets mailed to everyone too, all this information and and all the options to be involved in the meeting. Okay.
Thanks
This
a
is
lot.
Frank.
I appreciate that.
Go ahead, Frank.
Along those lines, was the phone number listed in the blast that went out on the Zoom for the town meeting? Did you see a call-in phone number listed there?
Frank, this is Kristen. It should have been the meeting invitation that was generated, that was sent to Deb, included the telephone number. So I can't say with 100% certainty, but I do know that the invitation that was originally generated and sent out for distribution did include the phone number.
I missed that in mine. I may have misread it, but that should be emphasized because people don't have to have their computer on at all. They could just call in by telephone
Yeah.
and attend the meeting. The only thing they won't have is visuals, but they will have all the audio and the ability to participate. So I think that should be emphasized in the marketing of the town meeting. And if you could pull that up, see if it had a phone number.
It,
I
all
remember
four,
the Zoom
there's four
account.
options on it, Frank. There's a Zoom
Okay.
meeting, there's a one-tap mobile, dial by your location, and then another meeting ID with a HTTPS address. So there's four options on that warning that went out.
Okay. All right. Well, that's great. Just want to make sure it gets drilled into people and special signage maybe put up that you can call in, that type of thing. And that will take the pressure off the audio, video part, and you'll have members coming in, people coming in by phone, which would be clear. And this is especially if it happened to go over 300 members, 300 people wanting to attend a meeting, that you would be able to open that up to call in and people call in with questions. Just a thought. Thank you, Maureen. I just wanted to expand that. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, good, Frank, thanks. So Keith, I see that you joined in. Would you have any comment about the road crew or anything like that tonight?
Did you discuss anything I sent to you earlier? Or no?
Everything.
Okay.
You're going to get a message.
Okay.
Dave Hosley, will he mow the road for the same price?
That's what he said. He said if
Okay.
we wanted him, he was willing to do it. So
Okay, so
I
we
think
said
he
we
was
would.
looking for some kind of a commitment. So he'll plan otherwise if he doesn't have us, I think.
No, we said we would do it as long as it's the same price.
Okay.
And the board voted that we'd like to leave that truck out of winter maintenance, the new truck out of winter maintenance this year, since we're halfway through and we still got the old truck. Is there any compelling reason that we shouldn't just leave that truck off the road? Not necessarily off the road, but just don't get involved in the winter maintenance.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
No,
And
barring something happening, but no,
Right,
that's
if
fine.
if there's some catastrophic event to the other truck that we have to, but if we don't, there's no real reason to put it out into this weather if we don't have to. We got that other truck. It's not going to make any difference on the value of that other truck. So
No, and should be heading out of the woods at this point anyway, so.
another month isn't going to be a big deal. Ray made the point that Carrera's heavy truck bay is not available for oil undercoating, but I know there's other options out there. They use fluid film a lot, and that seems to work very well without the mess, and it doesn't seem to eat the rubber up as much as oil does. So
Right. Well, I just thought we'd ought to consider something, that's all.
Well, we
before
would-
it.
part of the motion to keep that new truck off the road also included having you choose and get some kind of extra undercoating applied to it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and my just thoughts are, we won't even go get it until we're sure we got dry road to bring it home.
Right.
There's no sense in slopping it all up and then have to clean it back up again in order to take care of that, so.
Yeah.
And I
You know,
guess
there's
the
a
only
place
other,
in
go ahead.
there's a place in Whitehall that does fluid film undercoating on heavy trucks and stuff like that too.
Okay,
River. What the hell's the name of it? I can't think of it. It's right on the main drag now. They sell used cars and stuff. Oh, it's some street name where their garage was, but I can find that out for you if you wanna.
okay, pass it along when you get it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the only other thing I have to report is we're through with our public comment period on our A&R permit for the Herrick Road, so that's completed and that permit is in. Still working on the one for the Army Corps of Engineers, which I was curious as to why we needed it, but we need it because we're working outside of the normal parameters of the dates we can work in the stream. So to be completed, substantially completed by the end of June, we're going to have to work through June at, prior to the 15th. We'll be working in the stream there. So we have to have this additional permit in order to do that. So I'm working on that one now and we'll get that one in the works here too. So the other one is all set. The one through Josh, through the river technician. So.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Anybody got any questions for Keith? The sand pile in West Pawlet, is that going to be just about done with our old sand this year, Keith, or?
Pretty much, probably. Yeah, we're kind of been through a lot of material here in the past couple of weeks, so we're wading through it pretty well. So,
do we still have some stone to add to it?
Yes, we do.
Okay, didn't look like there's very much stone in the last couple of applications. I was just curious.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's stone there. I actually mixed up a load tonight and loaded on the truck. Yeah, there's still stone there. We're not going to need. Yeah. So we're not shouldn't need to get any more.
Okay. One thing I've seen this year is New York State A stone makes it very, very nice product, and I don't think it's going to make much dust, but it seems to go down and do a really nice job sanding.
Where are they putting that?
Gary put it up this year.
Okay.
And he's using it in his trucks and on the driveways and stuff, and I know several other people. Jim Andrus is using it, and a lot of people around are starting to use it because it doesn't wad up so bad. But I know we got a pretty good deal on product from Galusha's and stuff like that. It may be very competitive with sand without the fines that tend to make the dust and the slime and deteriorate our road top.
Yeah, I mean, I can look into that. We can probably get whatever the Washington County bid price is at least on that. So
yeah, that's what I was curious. It's just I noticed that it seems like when he applies it on the driveways, it stays because they're just teeny little chips. There's no fines in them, but they seem to stay on top better than to sink right into the ice and stuff. So, but that was just an observation I made that I wanted to pass on to you, Keith.
okay, thanks. We'll look into it when we get ready.
Okay. Anybody else have anything for Keith or? Okay, does anybody else have any public comment? Well, I think it's on you, Ed.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Do I hear a second? Chuck seconded it with his hand.
Yep.
All in favor. Chuck? That's a yes. John Malcolm?
Yes.
Ed? Ed put his hand up. He's got
Yep.
a yes too. Bob?
Yes.
All right.
Have a
Thank
good
you
night,
everyone
folks.
for coming.
Have a good night. Yep.
Good night, everybody.
Have
Thank
a good
you.
night. We'll see you.